Hey, family, blessings, wholeness, and balance. One love. Jesse Tree here, soaking up the beautiful sun today, giving thanks for another day of life. Today is like day 280 of, I'm gonna call it pranic feasting rather than dry fasting, just meaning that I'm still feeding. I'm just feeding off of the energies of the universe, and sound and frequency and light for 23 hours a day. Um, and towards the end of May, it's going to be a full year of doing this 23 hours a day. Definitely had a little more seaweed and stuff lately. Been putting some wakame in my broth and having some seaweed snacks a little more regularly. But as the sun is coming back, I feel less of a need for that. The warming broths and the grounding seaweed was helpful during winter. And the few solid meals I ate, was during Christmas and trying some of my son's mushroom burger I made him. So that's been an interesting thing. Definitely love this healing experience, but it's become so normal and regular for me that it just feels like regular. And right now, what's on my heart and mind a lot more than my own personal healing is the healing of the world. And part of the idea, coming into the breatharian consciousness is to taking responsibility at a greater level and developing the wisdom of compassion. That it's better to be kind than it is to be right. It's better to be, loving than it is to have, in a way, developing yourself in these ways, fasting, nutrition, study, meditation, refining yourself is a way to give a gift to the world. And so for 20 years now, I've been doing permaculture and herbalism and working with fasting and raw food, whole food, plant-based diets, and it has been tremendous. And part of the practice has been developing the wisdom, bodhicitta mind of loving kindness. And right now my heart is just really going out to everybody in Ohio. That was like basically like a nuclear blast hit that place, with what it may be even worse, the way it's affecting the water. Animals are dying, pets are dying, fish are dying. It's right there in Amish country, so kind of dissolving their sovereignty. It's also where a lot of the food is grown, like something like a third of the nation's food is grown in that area. It's prime farmland. So that is, there's been some funny things going on with, them slaughtering, millions of chicken, or billions even of chickens, to stop the spread of some kind of avian flu preemptively. It doesn't seem to add up, and there definitely are threats, whether they're contrived or just happenstance, to our food system right now. And so, I really want to extend at this time more of my practice and knowledge around permaculture design and foraging and bioremediation. Like, we need to remediate that spill in Ohio collectively. They petitioned Biden for funds, the governor of Ohio, and he wouldn't give it to them. So I feel like this is something we should gather and rally around and see what we can do on the collective level, organize ourselves to try to help. This is going to affect a third of the country. It's going to be in the water, it's going to be in the food, it's going to be in the Mississippi, which is the largest river, So I've been looking into bioremediation. Supposedly there is a aerobic bacteria that can remediate the vinyl chloride, and it is something that I guess the byproduct is just water and carbon. But it's part of this thing that's just been systemic part of the sickness of our culture for a long time, to even be using such things, that are so toxic. And vinyl chloride is actually one of the things they use to create polyvinyl chloride, which is PVC, and all manner of things vinyl, and things like just plastic clothes, just one-use plastics. We need to take practices underhand to boycott, and turn our culture away from the use of plastics, and look at ways in which we can support this, fiasco, and look at, get some of our brilliant minds studying on how we can bioremediate this incredibly toxic, you know, calamity. And the other thing, is to start growing more of our own food again. In after World War II, rather, the age of the victory gardens, Americans grew something like 60% of their own food in their own backyards. And this is starting to catch on again and again. But I, just would like to. I'm here online digitally, declaring my resolve to help people learn to grow, or actually physically put gardens into their backyards, so that we can start to have this community resilience and food sovereignty based on locally grown food, and that this is going to help with creating habitat for bees, and sequester carbon, and making the soil more fungal. These fungi, there's certain things that do what is called biological transmutation. Fungi is one of them. There's a number of things. I won't get into the litany of it right now, but that they actually transmute some of these non-point source pollutants in their bodies. It seems to make them, clean again. Of course, it's going to be the methods and the technologies of life that heal these things, and we can be agents of that in this time. So I'm just here to, kind of stand on my soapbox and hope that this falls on ears of people who, through their loving compassion, and the realization that we are all just incredibly interconnected, that stuff can't go on in Ohio and not affect the rest of us, whether it's family members who are affected, or just the environmental consequences of this. So hit me up if you're interested in locking arms and joining forces, or if I can help you with design. I'm going to start creating content more and more as we move into spring, as how to do permaculture techniques, how to do rainwater harvesting design, how to plant a food forest, simple hacks, like you can grow things if you don't have land, you can grow some food in some pots, on your balcony, or in the small bit of land you have, you can create food. We could start taking over community areas, petition our communities for land that is in disrepair, or that just needs to be put to good use for community gardens. There's so many things, and I would also suggest, I'll plug my company, because I am I'm part of this company because it coincides with my permaculture heart. So the permaculture ethos is care of people, care of the earth, and return of all surplus. And our company is Purium is creating clean food with zero plastic packaging. They do regenerative agriculture, so we're taking care of people, care of the earth, and economic empowerment, because we all gotta make a living through this time. We also gotta remember that our biological abundance is the basis of our abundance. There's a lot of people screaming about abundance. It's something I'm chasing for greater freedom, and to be able to create a greater impact in my family and my community. But all of that is based on our biological abundance. I urge you all to check out on YouTube. Just type in permaculture in China, or the lowest plateau, and there's a short version. You can even write short in your search bar, and it will show what we can do with massive, this can be scaled to the scale of millions of acres, to millions of square miles even, that we can rejuvenate this planet with our practices through rainwater harvesting, planting out food forests, sowing seeds, all of the permaculture techniques, no-till agriculture, and a typical forest grows like 8 times what grows in a typical field. To raise awareness about glyphosate, to boycott if you're gonna buy clothes, try to get wool, silk, hemp, cotton. Though cotton is heavily sprayed, so you want to get organic cotton. We want to start pulling our money away from these sources. We should be. I've been doing it for years. I've been doing it for 20 years, but I'm redoubling my efforts, and I'm urging you all, redouble your efforts. Let's take responsibility for our planet, for ourselves, and let's start making moves. So if you need some Purium for some clean food, because a lot of it is poisoned out there. A lot of it is, even the organics are downwind or downstream from farms that spray. There's this whole thing of this ecological catastrophe that had just happened in one of our main growing places. But first and foremost, I urge you to grow your own food. Support your local farmers. Go to your local co-op. Boycott the bigger stores like Whole Foods and natural grocers and Sprouts. And those places are fine. It's better than you got to go from where you're at. But get the highest possible. Get the organics. Stay away from plastic. Bring your recyclable cloth bags to get your groceries. A lot of people are doing this, but let's make it bigger. Let's chant this up. All right, family. Hope you got something from this. Sending you all the blessed. Be well.